followed their dreams and didn't listen to the critics. George Eliot says it's never too late to be who you might have been. Pick up a copy of Deal Your Own Destiny on Amazon.
KCAA Loma Linda. Listen on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studios as AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning. Who knows, maybe you got hit at a baseball game with a ball coming at you 110 miles an hour and you need an attorney. Contact Legal Shield for more information. 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Or check them out online at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. All right, a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. KCAA down in Southern California, from the high desert all the way out to Catalina Island, our NBC News and CNBC Financial affiliate, as well as 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas and everywhere else from coast to coast. We'll get into those a little bit later on. Welcome into everybody on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, and WOW Cable. Also Hotel Television from coast to coast. And from the very top of the show, we have a very special guest. For all you baseball fans out there, we're going to let him introduce himself.
Rick Turner, Commissioner of the California Collegiate League.
All right, Rick.
Glad to be on board.
Yes. All right, that's good stuff. All right, so the California Collegiate League, what is that?
Simply put, a summer baseball league, wood bat baseball league for college players that are prospective minor league and major league baseball players. Some real high caliber talent.
That's good stuff. And by the way, it's in California, folks. In case you're missing the boat on why it's there, it's because California produces a great deal of baseball players in the big leagues and the minor leagues. I've got to tell you, California is flooded with great baseball players. Rick, agree or disagree?
I agree, but I want to also make note that our league is drawing talent from all across the country. Big programs, very successful programs. I would have to say that of the teams in the College World Series, there were a handful of players spread out across our 10 teams in the California Collegiate League. So it's drawing talent from across the country.
Absolutely. And, you know, the funny thing is, when I grew up in the upper Midwest and I knew that I had to move to a warmer climate so I could compete year round and play in baseball, because it's awfully hard to throw inside of a gym, slide on the gym floor, right, when you're practicing and whatnot, but you can't get live games inside of a gymnasium. It just doesn't work. So you got to go to the warmer climate. And for me, it was going out to California, where a lot of people in the Southeast, right, we have great conferences for baseball. But what I like is that this is a wood bat league. We'll get into all the other locations and whatnot, but talk to me about the difference between a wood bat league versus those that use the aluminum bats.
For anybody that plays the game, it's a very obvious separator. That movement from the technology that's advanced to a point that they have to actually dummy it down. Aluminum bats, all right. The wood bat is a pure read. Somebody has to hit the ball, in the sweet spot. more consistently if they're going to perform well. The adjustment for hitters, and I can speak from a personal perspective, going from college to pro ball, that ramp up was pretty significant. But a jam shot off a wood bat is completely different than an aluminum bat. A ball off the end is going to have a different response, and they're doing their best to keep aluminum, graphite, whatever the products they're using for artificial bats is to regulate the game. But still, even with that said, what's happening with a wood bat is significantly different.
Yeah, certainly. And, back 100 years ago when they had rabbit ears on TV, when I was playing, they brought in the ceramic bats. You remember those?
Oh, I hardly have a recall of a ceramic bat, but I can tell you when the first first aluminum bats were introduced. I mean, there were some in Little League, but I recall in college there were some that were, they felt like we were swinging lead pipes. It was just one solid piece of metal with a knob welded to the bottom is what it seemed like. And oh my gosh, those things were very, very unforgiving. But the ball jumped off a lot of spots. And then you had Easton introduced bats that boy, the ball would jump. And they got smart and put smaller and smaller handles with big giant barrels. Pretty amazing. I recall the plastic caps popping off the end of them. But I don't have any personal experience with ceramic bats.
Well, I have to tell you, I remember they introduced those. I want to say it was about 1989. 90, 91, we started seeing those ceramic bats pop up, and it was a different sound. It was a different feel. And it was remarkably unfair already as the aluminum bats are versus the wooden bats. This is the bat that it would seem like the ball would jump an extra 30 or 40 foot off the bat. And it was remarkably unfair. I mean, here I'm on a pitcher's mound. I'm like, come on, man. Why are you using these ceramic bats? Let's just go ahead and go back to wood. Some people chose wood. In this particular league, I played back in those days, I played in the Orange County Baseball Association, and they used wood bats, aluminum bats, ceramic bats. It just seemed like anything they could swing. It could have been a lead pipe, I mean, for all I know. But I'll tell you what, ultimately, those kind of leagues were very unforgiving for pitchers because the batters got to use what they wanted to. And that wasn't very fun, I have to tell you.
Right. So the timing, if in the late 80s, early 90s for ceramic, I had to have seen them, been around them a little bit. I was coaching. I was the bullpen catcher in the big leagues with the Angels at that time. I do recall some of our hitters, one time specifically, Chili Davis, I thought was hitting with some graphite. And
was it white? Because those ceramic bats were white.
Oh, it could have been, but it was with somebody behind a screen, not against live pitching, and the ball. Not that he didn't create a lot of bat speed and big strong guy that hit plenty of home runs, but with something like that in their hands, that it was obvious that anybody, probably even in the infield, would be in danger. So
yes,
the introduction of anything of that nature just wouldn't fly. You'd have to have something really deadened if you were going to try to use that at the higher levels, and actually in pro ball, you'd be doing a disservice.
Yeah, Chili, that was one hell of a ball player. Big, nice round of applause for Chili Davis. Chili. He was one of those guys that he had that, he kind of leaned back with his stance there, and you just knew it was going to go 400 plus if he made any reasonable contact. Man, and he had a good glove too. Chili had a very good guy.
Super good guy. Yeah, by the time I'd come across him, he was predominantly DHing for us in the American League, but there's no question he was a solid, beyond solid fielder, very athletic guy, but he bulked up, big, strong guy to hit, switch hitter that could drive the ball out of the ballpark from both sides.
Yeah.
And worked as a a hitting instructor in the big leagues for a number of years. He'd been with a few organizations.
Well, the funny thing is, for the people listening to this, even down in Mississippi and Louisiana, look, we have a lot of great ball players that come out of these places, and there are leagues, different types of leagues in different places, kind of like what the California Collegiate League is. But when you think about the migration of players from the Southeast Conference or even from the Northeast or the upper Midwest, they go to the warmer climates to play year round. And these are the standout talents that, look, you're good and you should be playing around the year. You shouldn't just be playing seasonal ball. So if you want a shot to really make that next level, you got to go to a league just like this one, because this is going to get you the extra eyeballs. And back in the day when you and I played, we didn't have video. We didn't have, not this kind of video. We didn't have social media. We didn't have those mediums. In the last 1 minute of this segment, what did you do to give yourself extra exposure when you were playing?
So I was a kid that hung out at a park. I grew up in Orange and hung out at a park that college teams played at, and used to jump in the bullpen and catch. If there wasn't somebody there, go chase foul balls. Ultimately, I want to say my junior year, I ended up playing in that league, although I was in high school. It's not like I was superior or some, can't miss kind of guy, but they loved having somebody willing to catch guys in the pen and catch a game here and there. But yeah, that's something I did. Even though playing high school football, I played baseball during the winter.
Yeah, folks, listen, if you can catch and you want to play baseball, there is a job for you in baseball. We're going to be back here with Rick Turner. He's the commissioner of the California Collegiate League. Folks, good baseball league. Don't go anywhere. You're going to learn a lot more here in just a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. Again, that's 800-361-3491.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
800-908-7016. 800-908-7016. 800-908-7016. That's 800-908-7016.
The AMP TV studio, that's AAMP.TV, stands for All Ages Media Programming.TV. Make sure you check us out. All right, this segment brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-449-1119. That's 949-449-1119. Again, 949-449-4445. Let's see if I can say this right. Folks, it's live. Guess what? We make mistakes all the time, so I'm going to give that number once again, 949-445-1119. 949-445-1119. Or check them out online at calivegas.com. That's www.calivegas.com. Gotta love live entertainment, folks. You know what? We don't fix it in the mix, and we don't plan on it. So again, 949-445-1119. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. KHKA, CBS Sports 1500 over in Honolulu on the New York Yankees radio network, San Francisco 49ers radio network, and the Alabama Crimson Tide radio network. CNBC, NBC News over in Los Angeles, KCAA, and of course in Faraday, Louisiana, and Natchez, Mississippi, our friends over at Mid-South Broadcasting, 107.1 The River. Thanks for joining us also on the Houston Astros radio network, and that would be KSIX, CBS Sports Corpus Christi over in Auburn, Alabama. That's the Atlanta Braves radio network, WAUD, and in Atlanta, WDJY, and everywhere else across the country. Thanks for streaming us on social media, as well as watching in hotel rooms from coast to coast. Here with Rick Turner. Rick, as the commissioner of the California Collegiate League, so you want to be a baseball player. What does it take to be a professional baseball player and make it at least into the system? Rick, what does it really take to go from high school ball, which the odds are very slim, just to go to the next level? What does it take?
So, Sal, that's $1 million question, or maybe even
That's
more.
$1 billion
right?
question.
Right. You look at the amount of money spent from organizations, scouting, trying to determine who is a quote unquote can't miss. I was in a conversation earlier this year with Kenny Landreau, who was the manager of the MLB Academies team in our league. We say people throw around the can't miss logo credo on players, and I'm sure I'm sure anybody that follows sports could run a list a mile long of can't misses that miss drastically and sometimes right from the beginning. But so to get in the California Collegiate League, someone has to have college eligibility left. We do have a couple. There's an allowance for some out of high school, a player or two. But then the majority of the players are sophomores and juniors. And each team can have one, maybe two. I'd have to look at our bylaws, grad students. But as far as the California Collegiate League and what it takes to get into our league, kids need to be scouted by our coaches who reach out to college coaches, college and community college coaches that they have a relationship with. and they actively pursue the best talent, not always just best for results. Both the coach and our coaches work on providing kids with a lot of upside, kids who have potential. When I say kids, they're basically almost grown men, right, at this point. But it's giving them an opportunity to get, some additional innings in during the off season. Hopefully a kid gets to go from being maybe a middle reliever on his college squad to where now he's their Friday night starter, or maybe he's a Sunday night starter type thing. He's getting regular innings. Coaches will approve them coming. So a college coach will approve a kid's signing with our league, and then not overly monitor, but they'll make sure they monitor. They trust our coaches because of their baseball acumen. They'll monitor the amount of innings, or they'll make sure their kid goes with the right idea, knowing he's going to have to work to keep his spot, but he's also going to get probably X number of at-bats. And bottom line, all of the things I'm saying is we're a development league. We're about developing players. Most are on I won't say a fast track to a higher level within their university or community college, but that's generally the case. Many of them already are starters at their school. But this will help solidify their game, help them have an opportunity to work on their game.
Right. So how many teams are in the California Collegiate League?
So we currently have 10 teams. Starting, work south up, we have the Orange County Riptide, which plays at the Great Park in Irvine. It's a phenomenal facility. We have the Arroyo Seco Saints that play out of Jackie Robinson Stadium right next to the Rose Bowl. Conejo Oaks, who play out in Thousand Oaks, they use the Cal Lutheran Stadium. Great ballpark there. That ball club's supported by ABDG, Amateur Baseball Development Group, which is code for Mike Sosha and a couple friends. We'll come back to that. We have the Major League Baseball Academy in Compton, which puts together a great program year in and year out. Opportunity for guys to develop that might not get looks, might not get reps somewhere else. That's partly an effort, MLB working with them to make sure the sport's growing. We have a team in Santa Barbara, which is incredibly successful year in and year out. They play at a field at Santa Barbara City College. The Santa Barbara Foresters, who went back and won the College World Series in Wichita. We have a team in San Luis Obispo Blues, who this year were ultra competitive, have an incredible fan base. Neat Park in San Luis Obispo. They've done a great job. Their coach there, Bob Miller, who's a coach at Cuesta College, phenomenal job there. Pintard at Santa Barbara, another guy, he's a Yankee scout, phenomenal job there. Then 4 teams up north. We have a team playing in called the Walnut Creek Crawdads. They play on the field at St. Mary's, the college there. Beautiful facility, great program, great baseball guy running that team. Solano Mudcats, another solid baseball guy. He's got a ball club. They've bumped around a couple places. They've used a couple really nice high school fields. They hope to land at a more permanent site eventually. They'd like to do a stadium possibly. We have a team in Lincoln, which is just a little northeast of Sacramento, the Lincoln Potters. They play at a nice little ballpark in the town of Lincoln and have a super successful fan base following, super competitive ball club, attract great talent. And then the team that won our league state tournament playoffs, which was held in Lincoln, the Healdsburg Prune Packers.
The Prune Packers, yes. I like that.
Coached and run by Joey Gomes. You may recall the name. He played
Johnny
pro
Gomes.
ball, but his brother played in the big leagues. Had a nice career. Not the current Gomes that's in there. I find myself having to double check.
Johnny Gomes?
The current Jan Gomes. Yeah. Yes, they're both from up in Healdsburg, but there is a Jan Gomes that's playing in the big leagues now, catching. Right. I forget who. I think he's with Oakland. Not related.
He's with Oakland. Yeah,
that's someone different. Anyhow,
I was thinking the first thing that came to mind was Johnny Gomes.
Right, and that's who it is. So really, where I'm going with this, amazing baseball guys throughout. Right, baseball men and women who help support the organizations, help run the teams. These college coaches trust these guys. They know that they're going to go. They're not going to sit. Right. They're not going to get in a spot where they find themselves like at some colleges. You have this happen. A kid signs to go somewhere and there's 6 other guys that are on scholarship or promise opportunity to play at a position. And as we know, there's only 9, 10 if you're DHing that can start in a lineup. Of course you need some backups, but you can't be 3, 4, 5, 6 deep at a position. A kid's going to get lost, right? The same principle applies at the summer league. So if our coaches commit to getting somebody some innings, some at bats, the opportunity to work on something, they'll get it. By and large, they'll get it. Not 100%. The kid has to show on their side that they'll commit to it, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we come back from break, I want to get into some of the mechanics, some of the things that we're looking for from a scouting standpoint. What does it really take to be a, quote, 5-tool player? Now, we've heard that thrown around quite a bit, but we're going to get into some of that with Rick Turner, commissioner of the California Collegiate League, in just a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. Again, that's 800-361-3491.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AAMP TV. This segment brought to you in part by the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. For more information, contact the American Business Trust Company at 657-600-1876. That's 657-600-1876. Or check them out online for more information at www.abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. All right, and welcome back to everybody listening in on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Comcast, Cox Spectrum, Frontier, Wild Cable, on television, our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas, of course, and everywhere else. Listen, if you could stream us, you got to watch this stuff. And this is one of those episodes. Look, if you're a baseball fan or if you're just a fan of trying to figure out how players go from maybe high school, maybe to the big leagues, trying to figure out there's a process involved. But there are a bunch of checkpoints along the way, too, whether it's college ball, whether you're going up through a rookie league, a fast A ball, AA, AAA, you finally make the show, right? And then, you get sent down before you have your first step onto the field. Guess what? You're not on the roster. You're on the roster, but you didn't play. You didn't get to swing the bat once. You didn't get to stand on the pitcher's mound. You didn't get to even get your foot out there for one inning, for one out. And guess what, Rick? Then the wheels are off, and you could say you had a cup of coffee, but they spilled the coffee before you got to drink it. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, Sal, I want to pick up on something you just said. You mentioned checkpoints, and that's what the California Collegiate League is. Hopefully it's not just a blip on somebody's radar screen, especially as it applies to their development as a baseball player, but also as a person. And we'd like to believe that we have really good, solid people running the organizations, help these guys understand how the game's played, how to play things right. You could argue the game has evolved. There's a lot of things that have changed for the better. The level of, I'll call it showboating, that sort of thing. I'm not suggesting you can't do some of those things. The game clearly has room for some of it, but most important as somebody's developing, we'd hope that they're spending less time looking at their social media influence as it compares to their actual physical attributes and how they improve on those, right? And then what kind of what kind of contribution they make to their team, the local community while they're here, and then in a greater perspective, what kind of impact they're having on their teams at home. The community at home, how they represent their families, that sort of stuff.
Rick, we think about the 5-tool player. A lot of people have heard that. It's kind of like the infield fly rule. A lot of people have heard it, but they don't really know what it is. But, you think of those 5-tool players. First of all, tell everybody what the 5 tools are, because people don't really know. And just in your own opinion, If you only hit 3, what are the 3 most important ones?
So gosh darn, Sal, I'm not the guy for that. I'm not a scout. I get reminded through the course of the year about, and I don't try to act like I'm a scout, right? I can look at these players and see that how some of them play, but that's not something I can roll off the tip of my tongue. But what I can tell you is that if somebody has a weak spot, they have an opportunity to work on it here. If they have a strength, they have an opportunity to also develop it in competition in our league. But so if I was getting paid to guess this, if it was on some kind of contest, I'd have to say, their arm, right? Arm strength. It's got to factor in for everybody. One of the tools is for sure running or mobility. Defensive skills, right?
Gotta have a glove. Yep, gotta have a glove.
Gotta be a part of it. Then clearly you need a bat.
Gotta have a stick. Yep.
And I would have to go with the wild card. Maybe one of the most important is aptitude and attitude, but I'm not certain all of those actually are what scouts are looking at today.
Well, let's think about this. Okay, so back in the day with the old big league tryouts, I remember going through one of these things 100 years ago. The first thing they do is they test your speed. Do you have big league speed? Can you run fast enough? Period. Doesn't matter what position you play. If back then, if you didn't have big league speed, guess what? We'll see you next time. Next time you actually can run fast enough, right? And then, of course, they would test your throwing ability. Do you have the arm? God-given speed, God-given strength, right? You can increase your throwing ability a little bit, but you can't increase it enough where you're going to gain 8-10 miles an hour on a fastball. It just doesn't work like that. And, the funny thing is, Rick, back in the day, I go back to my high school days, back when there was black and white TV, right? So we go back to those days, and we didn't find ourselves in the gym. And you could probably attest to this. The pictures, you probably saw them working on the 5 different, parts from the forearm and the wrist area, right? So you had different little 5-pound weights, and you're doing little curls this way, you're doing reverse curls, you're doing radius curls, you're doing these back here for this area, and then you're also putting them in front of you and doing those. That's it. That's really all a pitcher had to do back in the day. And we were able to go front to back, going 9 innings. There wasn't a pitch count issue. And look, if you started missing up as a catcher, you would know this. The pitcher starts missing up, the pitcher's probably tired. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, probably. And I agree. They're not going near the distance. But one thing I will say is when you talk about the increases, they are finding that a lot of these kids are finding 8 to 10 miles an hour difference from an early stage of their pitching or throwing to where they're doing specific muscle group things. There's programs out there that have them. Is anybody off the street potentially gonna add mileage to what they throw? And I could be wrong about that significant of a jump, but we are seeing pretty astronomical jumps in miles per hour, bat speed from guys. And so back to your point, I'll say I go far enough back that a weight setup was a universal gym, maybe a jug full of water or cement even on a rope, and you'd roll that up to develop forearms, maybe do some triceps. And heavy weights were pretty much discouraged. Pro ball, we instructional league, we started to do a little bit more, but most of it was a little bit of preventative stuff for rotator cuff, that sort of thing. Some of those exercises, but not a lot was thought about getting really strong. These days, to your point, there's just some really phenomenal athletes playing the game where you might not know it, right? Because you've got pitchers who only pitch for the duration of their career. You've got some fielders who have arms. We actually saw it in our state tournament. St. Louis actually used a kid who hadn't pitched at college at all, took the mound and had a really good arm. And there are a couple kids in and on teams this summer that were bordering on dominant on the mound and extremely competitive out in the field. So although there's a lot of people specializing, the athletes have just gotten significantly better, the technology they have. And when I say technology, I don't just mean there's a tool it's the comprehensive look, right? There's video, there's the information they can grab about certain drills that are going to help with specific issues, right? I mean, it's like you or I, you get a sore calf, I can go online and find all sorts of good solutions, natural anti-inflammatories. What I eat is going to help how my body responds. Some over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, right? Some exercises that are preventative. Extrapolate that out into every aspect of the game. It's just amazing what's out there and available.
It really is. And what I've noticed is, yes, for example, I came out of high school throwing 97 as a lefty. It was the beautiful thing, right? But what I also realized is today, 97 is a run-of-the-mill pitch speed. I mean, now you got guys throwing, $105. I mean, it's crazy, right? But the one thing that I have noticed is from a conditioning standpoint, yes, they're bigger and bulkier. The problem is we have a lot more Tommy John. It seems to be a regular thing. And it's funny, I had Tommy John on the show. He goes, why does everybody have to think of me in a bad light? Everybody says, oh, come on, man. Now, suddenly I'm an injury. No, it just happened to be that I had to deal with this, but it's the Tommy John thing, right? But the problem is in today here in our last 30 seconds of the segment, the problem is we see so much rigorous and weight training, so much rigor in the weight room. And we see a lot of injuries that simply don't happen, or better yet, if you compare them from era to era, they didn't happen back in the day, and pitchers were out there. And I guess from a conditioning standpoint, I like the fact of when I was throwing 100 years ago, we didn't have the same regimen, but we were also out there from front to back. And we would basically throw till the hose was hanging, so to say. And it strengthened us over time. Hell, we threw bricks and giant rocks to strengthen our arms. Back here in a few minutes with Rick Turner from the California Collegiate League. So you want to be a baseball player. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back.
You don't sit behind a desk every day to earn a living. You're out and about making it happen. And sometimes you get a little bit behind on your paperwork, like bookkeeping and paying your taxes. It's easy to get behind on paying your taxes. It happens to the best of us. And you know what happens next. The big bad IRS comes knocking on your door. And when that happens, you need to call the good old boys at the Tax Doctor. Let them do what they do best. Deal and negotiate with the IRS so you pay the lowest you can in back taxes that the law allows. We are a 100% U.S.-based company, and we've saved our clients millions over the years in back taxes. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call my friends right now at the Tax Doctor and learn more.
800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. That's 800-989-1694.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. Again, that's 800-361-3491.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AAMP TV. All right, folks, this segment is brought to you by the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, one of our partners all the way from the beginning. So when we started this show many, many years ago, it's a long-running show, guess what? The College of Southern Nevada has been with us the entire time. In fact, csncoyotes.com is the athletics website. You want to check that out, csncoyotes.com, for upcoming events and games, whether it's basketball, soccer, volleyball, and of course, baseball. In fact, that College of Southern Nevada baseball team, you know, when you go out to a game there, Rick, I'm going to bring you into this here, Rick Turner from the California Collegiate League, the commissioner, that is. We have a lot of scouting at the College of Southern Nevada baseball games. In fact, you go to any one of the games and you'll see lots of guys out there. They all have their jugs, guns. And I remember going out, it was a couple of seasons ago, and the first game, I had to say there's at least 30 scouts out there. This is the same school that produced Bryce Harper. Right? And there's scores and scores of players in Major League Baseball today from the College of Southern Nevada. I tell you what, this is good stuff. We're going to give them an astounding round of applause. Nick Garitano does a great job over there. And make sure you check him out at csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. All right, Rick Turner from the California Collegiate League. So you want to be a baseball player. We talk about different tools, different skill sets, developing arms. I got to ask you a little bit beyond this development thing. What happens when, and I have a real problem with this, when you have a player out there throwing their bats up in the air. They hit a home run. They throw their bat 20, 30, 40, 50 feet in the air, whatever the hell it is. What do you think about this bat flipping thing and showing up the competition?
Sal, I think
it's okay. It's just a couple of guys talking. It's okay.
I think there's room for some of it. Unfortunately, I think there's probably a little too much of it for my taste, but I'm willing to still watch good competitive ball games. I think the flip side is what I was taught is that you have to consider that when you're on the other side of that, right? If the pitcher is going to, shoot guns at a guy every time he swings and misses, strikes out, it certainly could get out of hand. But, people seem to like it. The average fan seems to be drawn to that sort of thing. So I'm willing to accept it. But I do think beyond that, I think it's super important that people play the game the right way. There's plenty of guys that do. And I just have opted not to focus on it. It's some of it ridiculous, sure. But, what the heck? Some of the balls that these guys hit, some of the pitches they throw, I would expect them. I forget who was it. Andujar used to rip the glove, or some of these guys, I'm not surprised that there's some antics behind it. But when a guy flips his bat and pops out to the shortstop, that's a little difficult for me to stomach.
Right. Well, I have to tell you, just from, look, you being behind the plate, me being on a hill, if I struck somebody out, I look at it as, okay, great. All right, I know I'm going to see you again later in the league, if not, or later in the game, or maybe in the schedule. So I'm not going to try to show you up. I'm just going to go about my business, do what I'm supposed to do. But let's think about the idea that if somebody hits a home run and they stop and they steer, let's go back in the time machine a little bit, right? And they stop and stare and admire. And then they walk around the bases, right? So they walk around the bases and they just kind of look at the audience or just look at the teammates, right? And they say, well, hey, wait a minute. Why are you doing this? What in the world are you thinking about? Why is it that we have one person that needs all the attention on them? This is a team game. What are you doing? All you're doing is you're making it worse for your team because there's a really high likelihood that the next person is going to get drilled in the lineup. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's old school. I don't think we see much of that. And fortunately for us, I'll keep it relevant to the CCL. We have very little. I mean, there's, of course, a little bit, but very little of that kind of behavior. The kids are here to play ball. They're having a good time. Are they into it? Yes. I want people to be passionate. I want a guy to feel good about hitting a big home run, getting a game-winning hit, striking out the side to win a ball game, shut down an outing. Sure, some emotion is great. We're not looking for droids out there. But yeah, the extreme, I don't know. I can't really speak to that. I'm so far removed from what really matters in the dugout and in the clubhouse. Right. Keep in mind that at that level, some of it is the guys are saying, look, if you're going to be here for the duration, let's treat everyone with a certain level of respect, recognizing how hard it is to get to the big leagues.
Well, and I think that's the real argument, Rick, because look, you're all professionals. Act like it. And it's okay to show a little emotion. That's cool, whatever. But after you strike somebody out, and we see this in the bigs on a regular basis, you'll see a strikeout, a closer comes in, it's a 4-run lead, which the whole save category to me, it's a little overblown in my opinion. But I look at the fact that here you've got a guy that's got to come in, maybe he's got to throw 4 or 5 pitches, and he didn't do the hard work for the whole game, and he gets, for some reason, all the glory for what? That he acts like a fool up on the pitcher's mound because he's got a 4-run lead and he throws 4 or 5 pitches and suddenly he's the hero. No, the whole team is the hero. It's not just you. So it's cool to be emotional, but I mean, don't be a jerk about it. That's how I see it.
I'm with you to some degree. I will say this: I have a ultimate respect for anybody who's genuinely earned a save, and for those closers, what a role to be around someone like a Brian Harvey who had just phenomenal success, salt of the earth guy, a good old boy. I can't imagine him ever doing anything to show somebody up, but. As Doug Rader used to say so eloquently, when you're the guy who's coming out of the bullpen, they close that gate and you're the last guy. There's nobody getting up behind you. There's quite a bit of significance and pressure on that person to get the job done. So I love a good save situation. I love seeing that matchup. A college coach of mine talked about player and hitter and pitcher, having that eye contact, recognizing, we're in a battle, mano a mano type thing. And, today's game's actually morphed into that, an awful lot of save situations, right? It's home run or strikeout. And it's a guy trying to throw the ball as hard as he possibly can to get somebody out, with very little craft involved. The guys who succeed combine both, right? They learn to take big cuts. They learn to hit the ball different ways, put the ball in play when needed. Same with pitchers. They learn to pitch, right? They, even the guy that's just flat out blowing, he learns to pitch at some point if he's going to stay.
The evolution of the game is very interesting because I have to go back to history. What has history always told us when we were kids? All right. So again, let's go back in the time machine here. We're running on time a little bit in the segment, but I want to get this out there. I remember I was taught swing the bat level, swing the bat level, swing the bat level, right? The bat stays in the strike zone a heck of a lot longer if you're swinging it level across it versus going up on an angle, right? So you've got this geometry question, right? And so the fact is, pitchers coming in, they're throwing the ball. We know if you're swinging at an uppercut, trying to get some elevation on that ball, the likelihood of you swinging and missing is a lot greater than if you swing the bat level, as some people were told when they were younger. So for me, it's sort of a conundrum. Yes, you have a ball that seems to be, and I don't know, it seems to be an enhanced baseball. We'll kind of say it like that, if you know what I mean, right? So we seem to have one where guys that are 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing are taking the ball and hitting it 450, 500 foot, whatever. Right? Back in the day, you take guys like Freddie Patek from the Kansas City Royals, little Freddie, or even Harry Chappas from the White Sox, 5'0" nothing again. These guys did not hit home runs. But you take Jose Altuve, he'll hit them 450, 500 foot. How do the little guys today, well, maybe it's because they get that elevation. No, I don't think so. My point is, from a contact standpoint, I think some of the mechanics that are taught today, in my opinion, are horribly off. But then again, some of the rules about pitching, I mean, to this point, Rick, we're going to get to electronic strike zones. They're not even going to have umpires anymore. That's what it seems like. It's going that direction. What do you think?
Boy, I don't know, but I won't even touch the enhanced baseball possibility. I will say this: it's pretty obvious that we're rewarding home runs. We're rewarding the big strikeouts. And so that's the game today. And I certainly wouldn't be someone to say a guy needs to modify his approach so they can, increase his average by a little bit and end up not signing a contract, not being brought back. It's not as if these benches are full of, straight contact guys. Right? They're looking to bolster lineups with guys that can go yard and guys that can throw it through a brick wall.
But you got to put the ball in play no matter what. That's really what this comes down to. Put the ball in play, make some contact. Anything could happen. Hey, listen, Rick, we've got about a minute or so left in the segment. I want you to tell everybody quickly all about the league, how to follow it, how to go to some of the games, etc. Go ahead and take a quick minute.
Well, I love it. So 1 point to follow up on kids. We actually you mentioned Mississippi. We had a kid that won. He was our pitcher of the game at the showcase game on TV earlier this year. Cody Adcock pitched out of Mississippi. Kid from Georgia Tech, are one of the players that was player of the game for Healdsburg in the state tournament from Texas Tech, I believe. So we're getting kids from all over, which means there's great talent all over the place, right? California Collegiate League can be found at, what are we at? calsummerball.com. There's all sorts of nice content there, give you some insight onto the teams. If kids are playing college ball and have aspirations to play, they certainly should let that be known through their current coach. And follow the league, reach out to coaches throughout the league. If they're not being recruited by our league, the teams play June, July. It's a good time to be had by all, actually, and fun stuff. Fortunately, I don't have to debate any of this stuff in my role.
No, it's good stuff. And look, there is an alternative for people for those ball players to learn a little bit more. You get some excellent instruction from the coaching staffs. But on top of it, a little extra exposure never hurt anything. Rick, I want to thank you for being on today's show. This is good stuff. We'll have to bring you back and talk a little bit more about this and chop it up. And I'm going to get you to loosen up on some of these topics and get your opinion really out there. We'll bring you on not as the commissioner, but just as a catcher.
Trying to get him to bite, right? There you go.
That's good stuff.
I love it.
Right.
Appreciate it, Sal.
Yes, sir. All right. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, and we'll see you next time right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
This notice is to all timeshare owners who don't need or want their timeshares anymore. Call us now and we'll legally help you get out of your timeshare contract forever. Thousands of owners who are now not using them cancel their timeshare contracts every day. Now it's your turn. If you're tired of paying your monthly timeshare maintenance fees, call us. Our legal team will fight for you so you can stop paying for a timeshare you don't want and save your money. If you've tried on your own or with another company to cancel your timeshare, don't give up. At the Timeshare Helpline, we can help you get out of your timeshare contract forever and never make a payment again. How great would that be? Call the Timeshare Defense Attorneys right now for immediate help.
800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.